Hello lovely people, my name is Emma and today I'm doing a video about what I'm currently reading, and I'm also doing this as a one take challenge. So this is the idea that you try and do a video literally in one take and there is absolutely no editing. So you get to see me warts and all. Let's just go for this. I've never really done a currently reading video on my channel before, but I do actually have 5 books on the go at the moment which I kind of wanted to talk about, and I'm going on holiday quite soon, so I kind of needed some quicker, easier content ideas, and there's quite a range of books here which I thought would be good fun to talk to you about. So I'm going to go in order of when I most recently started reading them, if that makes sense. Half of these were on my Monsterathon TBR, and then half of them will end up on my wrap up for Monsterathon because they do fit prompts, but they weren't originally planned. I'm struggling with my planned TBR this month. So the first one, which was on my TBR, is Love Minus 80 by Will McIntosh. I am about 20% of the way through this at the moment. It's a sci-fi romance as such, and basically it's in a future world where when people die you have the ability to bring them back briefly, and when people die who are particularly attractive they get put in what's called like the Bridesicle Centre. That's not its official name, but that's kind of how everybody refers to it as. And then basically fairly desperate men can pay unbelievable amounts of money to revive these gorgeous women so that they can then have them as a bride, but they go on like dates beforehand and it costs literally like 7,000 whatever the currency here is, but equivalent to like pounds or dollars, to revive them for about 5 minutes. The underlying kind of story of the main characters is this woman who's been under for quite a while and her getting woken up throughout time, and then also our main character whose name I can't remember, I can never remember any names, but he accidentally kills a woman in a hit and run situation and now is trying to kind of atone for it by visiting her in these Bridesicle centres. I'm really enjoying it. It's really interesting and cool and quirky and fun, and I'm loving the romance bit with all this like weird sci-fi elements. The discussion about like the women being trapped, because there isn't an equivalent for men, is really fascinating, and I think it's going to do some very cool interesting things. And I'm only 20% of the way through, like I said, and it's already done quite a lot, so I'm really excited about like what the big climax is going to be in it. I'm buddy reading with Carly from Bell's Books The Tenant of Wildfell by Bronte this month, and it is slow going right now for me, but not because of the fault of the book, but more the fault of kind of my life right now. So like I said, I'm going on holiday soon. Work is complete chaos. Like, I've picked the worst time in the world to go on holiday. Tons of deadlines for a campaign I'm trying to get off the ground. So because of that, I'm too tired at the moment to really appreciate this book. I'm like 17 pages in. I've read a chapter, a single chapter, but I really enjoyed what I read, and so I don't want to read it when I'm tired and then not fully be able to appreciate it. But my plan is to read this whilst I am on holiday, because then at least I will have the time to dedicate to it properly. But yeah, I'm loving the style at the moment. One that was not on my original TBR is The Corset by Purcell. I started this the other night and then ended up reading about 50% of it in one go. I'm absolutely adoring this book right now. It's a historical fiction thriller, and it's told by the point of view of 2 different women. Ruth, who has been accused of murdering her mistress, and she is on their equivalent of like death row kind of thing, and then this very rich woman called Dorothea, who is like in high society, and she does a lot of charity work with prisons, and she's really interested in phrenology, I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's like the old Victorian style of studying people's heads and believing that the shape of the skull could tell you and indicate the kind of human being you would be, and would be a way of like identifying criminals. And she's super into that and is trying to use Ruth and her position in the prisons to kind of like explore and do more research in this area and kind of become more respected in her field. As with like a dual POV, what I quite often find with these things is I prefer one of the characters quite a lot more than the other, and Dorothea is only interesting when she's talking about phrenology. When she's talking about high society, she's super dull, and unfortunately she spends too much time talking about high society and not enough talking about phrenology. Ruth, however, is really cool, and there's this maybe like faint magical realism element coming in to do with her, like when she sews things, she kind of sews her energy into that garment, and then whoever has it seems to like take on whatever that is. So that's kind of adding like a weird funky kind of gothic magical realism element, and I don't really know where they're going to go with that, and I'm really excited about where it's going to take it. And then last night, like literally I started another 2 books last night and this morning because your girl just can't focus right now and wants to be reading everything. But last night I was feeling super tired, wanted to read, did not want to kind of like attempt to read any of these books because they require too much attention. I worked 14.5 hours yesterday. That's one of like our standard weekend days. It's like a 14.5 hour day. It's pretty crazy. So I'm reading on my Kindle, which is in here. I'm reading Magic Bitter Magic Sweet by Charlie N. Holmberg, I think is the name. I'll also put like oh, you know the word, the cover up here. And basically this is a YA magical realism book, and it's sort of a bit of a fairy tale retelling a little bit. Charlie M. Holberg wrote the Paper Magician series that I absolutely love. I read it back in September. Really cool magic system. The plot sucks. The girl can't write a plot to save her life, but her magic system's really good fun, and I'm kind of running into the same problems here, that the plot isn't very good, but the magic system's kind of interesting. But there's like a lot less of the magic system in this book compared to the Paper Magician series, and I'm not really necessarily feeling it a crazy amount. I'm gonna keep reading it because it's only like 250 pages long. Super easy reading because it's YA, and if anything it's like really chill YA at that. So I'm definitely going to finish it, but I don't think I'm going to rate it very highly. Also, it's a bit gruesome in places. The main character's just like got her leg caught in a bear trap, and that scene was awful. So I don't know. And then the final one that I'm reading, I'm actually listening to an audiobook, but I do have a physical copy here, and that's War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. It's the last big H.G. Wells I really need to read. This is for the conspiracies like prompt for the Monsterathon, and you know, it's a classic, it's iconic, of course it's a classic, it's got the classic cover. We all know about this book. I've talked about it in a bunch of different like hauls and TBRs recently. I'm kind of enjoying the audiobook, but the narrator, there are a few odd bits that kind of grate a little bit. It was really helpful for this morning because I've got a ton of errands to do in the house. That classic, we're going away in like 4 days time, not enough washing's been done, or washing up, and oh my god, it's all just chaos in the house. So it's been really good today to just have on in the background whilst I've been doing things, and I've still got a bunch more errands to do after this, so I will probably continue to listen to it. I might even get to finish it either today or tomorrow, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, I am enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but it's not grabbing me in quite the same way that the other H.G. Wells did, and I can't tell if it's the book or the narrator, and that's always an issue with audiobooks, I find. So that's it. That's the one take challenge. That's what I'm currently reading right now. What are you currently reading, and what do you think to all these books? Have you read any of them, and do you have any like watch out for the ending, no spoilers kind of thing for me? Yeah, I'm filming tons today, so I'm gonna get off this and film my next one so that I have a nice backlog of videos for whilst I'm away for you. So have a wonderful reading week, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.